Welcome to another morning broadcast. This is your first time we meet 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm on my DJI camera this morning, so the setup looks a little bit different, but we still gonna have some fire updates and a fire game plan for today. Now, this morning started off on fire. We had multiple tickers that were running up. T9 is up like almost, it was up 400%. POAI up 100%, and we have things just running today. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Let's get into the big picture, and we'll get right into the game plan for today. All right, so let me just let's start off. All right, so let's cover the scan, then we'll take a step back and move into talk about indices, overall market. Okay, all right, so as I always say, you never know what's going to happen, right? We have to get our rest, get our sleep, and be ready for the market, because yesterday exploded, XHLD, and then after we got off the call, MLGO, boom, just it was on the watch, and I didn't even cover it in the game plan because it didn't look too good, right? But right after we got off, we had a blast to the upside. It broke through a range. And then inside of our Profit X community in the Zoom, I'm like, look, I'm jumping in MLGO. Like right when we jumped on the Zoom, I saw what I needed to see. And we started to trade MLGO, right? So this morning, TNON, this one had FDA approval. And even if you thought you missed the setup here, there was just scalp after scalp after scalp on TNON. Then right after that, or kind of like in a little bit later, this one, POAI, it pops up on the scan, ranges a bit, and then breaks out. And this one had, this is a AI biotech company, AI driven model for cancer treatment, right? So they had like they outperformed, they outperform some results from before. They have all these different models that are driven by AI. And this one, low float, perfect fit when it comes to stock selection. And this one ran up, right? And when you even thought that it was done, the pullback happens and the tape level 2 looks good. And it gives even more setups, right? So today it was like, boom, 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 aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. We see these pullbacks happen. I'm watching, and I'm like, oh, it's not done. So today was, because the market has been on a decline, so we just been one to one. We have runners, but they have a lot of pullbacks. But today we saw some just take off like 1 to 4, 1 to 5 trades. If you were able to hold through some of the pauses, you had massive short squeeze here. To the upside. Okay, so those are two. Then ALMS, it just pops up on the scan just recently in the last 30 minutes or so. Pushes up, pulls back, CVD looks good, entry here, and then it just pops and then pulls back, right? So that one, DATS, this one pops up on the scan, squeezing, and then boom, right? So this morning was just like a rush. It's like we have to come to the market every day, just prepared to take advantage of what opportunities appear. But sometimes some days are slower than others. And this is just a reminder of that whenever we show up, we have to show up. Get your sleep, get your rest. Don't come and say, oh man, it's not gonna be nothing today. You never know, right? So we have to be ready. We're hunters. So we have to be ready for whatever appears, and we have to be ready to execute, because this day alone can make the whole entire week, right? And it may not even be over, right? So when the market opens, we may have more opportunities to take. Okay, so you may feel some different energy. It's just because I was fired up this morning because of all the opportunity. Okay, all right, now let's talk. Let's look at the big picture. Okay, let's look at big picture. And please smash that like button if you enjoy these, and share with others. Please consider subscribing. All right. Now, big picture. So SPYs and the Qs have been, they rallied out of that range. Okay. And everybody's looking for the tariff bottom. Now, what some of the analysts are saying, which I agree with, is that even though we see the rally here, it's still short term. So we may not quite be seeing the right side of the V. And that's due to the tariffs and even April 2nd, right? There was some optimism this weekend, but April 2nd is coming up. The tariffs are going to go into effect, and they're going to have impact on growth, earnings for multiple quarters, and they're going to raise inflation, right? So we may not be in the clear quite yet, right? This may not be the right side of the V for the monster rally. And typically these, fundamentals from a macro level, you can read them, and it helps you with indices. But day to day, keeping in mind, you have the tariffs, that headwind. I would say, trade zone to zone. If you're going long, just be aware that, aware of where you are. If you're at a previous resistance level, you can consider shorting if you have what you need to see, or if it is to break through that level. And we see some of the big names, they're continuing, then trade the continuation, but just have in the back of your mind what's going on the macro. Okay. That's how we do it. So I don't think we're quite in the clear when it comes to the downside, but we'll see. All right. We'll see. All right. So that being said, let me move into some of the theme names, right? So the Nvidia, it rallied. It rallied Friday and pre-market Monday. Then it started to pull back, but it pulled out of this little multi-day range, right? So if this one has more upside, then we will see the Qs continuing higher. So with quantum is a theme we've been focused on, especially if Nvidia's rallying. The perception of quantum, it was on a decline for some time, and then we had it in our game plan. We saw it drop Thursday, Friday, rallied yesterday. It was in our game plan, rallied all day yesterday. It had some pullbacks, but it rallied. Then it pulled back pre-market, and now it's on a previous support. So there's some clear levels here that if QUBT breaks, then we may have more room to the upside. Even if it drops, this could just be a higher low on the higher time frame. Okay. All right. So definitely looking at QUBT. The others were they have their own catalysts, as I mentioned, individual stocks, low float, beautiful, perfect selection. I think the one with the highest float was ALMS, but all the others, low float names. Low float, ALMS was low float as well, but those that were like sub 5 million, those really ran up today. Okay, so QUBT, not a lot of volume in the pre-market, but that's typical. When the market opens up, then we can see how price reacts around these levels. Okay, all right. Now another one is MLGO that I just have on watch. This is the one that surprisingly just exploded yesterday. So when we were on our call yesterday, here we go. When we were on our call yesterday, this in the morning, it was basically in this range. Price couldn't get above. So what I wanted to see was if it would pull out. But I think when we were on our call, it was just, it hadn't done much. And then while we were on the call, it popped to the upside, broke out of that range. I didn't see it though, because I didn't have, I think my alarms went off, but I didn't look at it. It wasn't until we jumped off of the call and I was transitioning into our live trading call when, I zoomed out. Like I keep these windows, keep all, different names in these windows like this. So I zoomed out and I saw that it broke out, and automatically I'm like, all right, I gotta get in. My entry wasn't even that good, but, I was able to get in, and then it gave more entries as it was pulling up. It was a little bit harder to trade once. Some of these were a little bit harder for me to trade because of the patterns that I look for. But it continued and continued and continued. Even if you thought it was done, it just kept continue rising throughout the day. So this one is now pulling back a bit to previous support levels. So we'll see if MLGO heats up and gives us some more. Right. So if you look at it. Yeah. So as I mentioned, you never know. It's just at the end of the day, when you have things that line up with your stock selection strategy and your stock selection strategy and your price action order flow confluences, you just jump on it, right? So MLGO, that's another one. Now, the one that it really okay. Yesterday morning, XHLD was the first trade, was the first ticker of my trading. But as price pulled back, we were here on the call. We were looking for maybe another leg. Well, when it opened up, it just didn't work, right? And then it looked like all of the buying went towards MLGO, right? So that one just faded off. Now, this is at prior Friday's high. Now, we all know the life cycle of these stocks, so it could potentially just fade off. But I'm just keeping on watch. Okay, so if we get some movement, then we'll see what happens. All right, we got something else popping up here. Let me see what is this. Desktop Metal announces Delaware Court of Chancery orders Nano Dimensions to complete Desktop Metal merger. Headline looks like it's some sort of merger agreement happening. These algos, they pick it up and then it causes a spike. So let's see. This one is about 21 million float. It's still low, but some of those that are like 5 million, sub 5 million, those are the ones that run up the most. So let's see if there's the aggressive selling comes in here, how aggressive it is as we have the pullback, as this pullback develops. Let me keep this right here. All right, so micro pullback, POAI, TNLN, QUBT, LMSDM. All right, Desktop Metal. Just waiting to see if that micro pullback sets up for us here. How aggressive the selling is. Looking at the ask to see what's up, or if we're gonna get an entry here. Be patient. Let's see. This is going to determine right here with all the sellers coming in, if the buyers are able to push back above about 447. I'll let you know if I execute. Just waiting. Hand on my keys. But those sellers are pushing down. So let's see. This is going to determine right here, this moment, if they can push through the bid right here, then may not be ready. So let's see. And again, everything is probabilities. This is not financial advice. So trading is risky. Most traders lose all their money. My results are not typical, and our students' results are not typical. Got to give the disclaimers, because if you hit the button with me and you lose money, don't wanna be liable. 431. Let's see how it holds right here. 430. If they push through the bid or not. 429. That's on the move. This one's setting up. Let's see. I was just about to ask y'all, like, hey, let me know if oh yeah, that's went. This the game. You know, we gotta keep multiple things on watch. Looks like the buyers are having trouble with desktop metal. This is something similar that we were looking for on DATS, on desktop metal. DATS has a much lower float as well, but DM's not quite over. All right. Well, yeah, so that's it. If you didn't catch anything today, you're still learning, study today. Okay. It's actually a really hot day. So let's see what happens when the market opens. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna jump off and we'll be in touch. Okay. Yeah, have a good day.